So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this series. You might want to watch it from the beginning because despite the fact that it says news, it's actually information that is relevant to your environment or your culture or your place or just trends that might become an issue later. So one way or another one, it might be affecting you. So you might want to watch this from the beginning. As usual, whenever somebody's telling you news, you might need to check the information. And you might need to understand the topic a little bit differently if it catches your eye. And if something doesn't add up to you, then you can do your own research and always come up with your own conclusion because there is usually more than one side to the story. And I do try to make things balanced, but sometimes there are things that are just too many details to something, so it might be too many things to cover for just one thing. Now, having said that, then grab your coffee and enjoy. And if you wanted to share one with me, links for that down below. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So, this particular video will be about things that are being done because of money, but not necessarily like front money. Meaning, these are trends that are happening because of underground, money. Things that nobody's doing frontally, because otherwise you will create panic or you will create a revolution or something. So, to start, we are going to go to Spain. So, this country is having issues with water. Now, you might think, yeah, good, what is it about that? Because quite frankly, every single place has a problem with water. Yes, I know that one. So, okay, I'm going to be specific about why I'm going to talk about Spain. Two things that are happening. Number one, in the European Union, lately, there has been a huge, and I do mean huge, destruction of dams. And more than half of the dams that are being demolished per year are from Spain in the entire European Union. So let me explain this one so that you can try to understand what is happening behind the scenes. So water is a business. It should not be a business. It should never, ever, under any circumstances, be a business. But it is right now. So you cannot live without water. And you will pay whatever money you are asked for water. So here is the deal. Right now, in Spain, they are putting water into the stock market. So I have a question. Why is a resource that is supposed to be for living? It's sort of like you saying that air has a price and then you put it in the stock market. You should not do that, because water is supposed to be provided by the government, since they are already taking a lot of taxes to do the pipes and to do a lot of things. And they are actually destroying the dams. Now, here's the deal. When you get water through your pipe, there is a whole system that you do not see. So first, there is a catching system, meaning somebody has to, put it into a place, kind of like a tank or something like that. This is done through dams, and this is also done through huge tanks in certain areas. In certain cities, they will have huge water tanks that are up or underground wells or something like that. But water has to be collected. Then it needs to go through the pipes to the streets. But it also has an issue, because you have water that is coming into the house and water that is coming out of the houses and out of the industries and everything. So you need to treat the water. And then you need, the water treatment plants, and then you also need electricity. And these water treatment plants, they need certain amount of water in order for them to work, because otherwise there will just not be water. And it's sort of like when you have a water pump and the water pump is still running. If there is no water, that water pump might blow up. Or It, by the way, this has happened a lot in my country. You have no idea how bad it is. I mean, there are people in buildings which had to be evacuated because the water pumps in the basement, they were on and there was no water coming in. And then as soon as water came in, the difference in temperature just exploded the metals and things, and it was just very bad. And then you will have to abandon the building and things like that. So try to imagine that in a water treatment plant is even worse. So you need certain amount of water to be contained. Then you need certain amount of water to go to the water treatment plants, because otherwise, they will not work. There will be people that will check the pressure, check a lot of things, and check the quality of the water. And if there is too much water, then the water treatment plant will overflow. And if the water treatment plant overflows, then the water that you're going to get in the pipe is going to be filled with all kinds of organic materials, as in poop and all kinds of things. And then you will also get it with a lot of chemicals like chlorine or whatever it is that they put into the water, so that it's not going to kill you. At least, it's going to smell horrible. It's going to have horrible smell, horrible taste, horrible color. Is going to be very, very bad. And the whole situation with the water is bad. And you need a lot of dams in order for you to control the flow of the water. If you do not have a lot of dams, you will have a lot of floods like they're happening in my country. You will also have a lot of issues in terms of transportation, because remember, water is not just for drinking or water or for cleaning or whatever. It is also for transportation, like boats. And there are huge boats, and there are sometimes even boats that are smaller. There is fishing. There is a lot of industries that require dams for them to work. Now, if the dam was already built, that means that, whatever happened before, like, issues with people that used to live there or whatever, that is done. It's done. You cannot do anything about that because it's already done. But when you are destroying the dam, not only you are losing the money that you already spent. By the way, building a dam, extremely expensive. Like, really, seriously, is oh my God, it can be, in the billions of dollars to try to build one dam. Let alone, and these dams do not necessarily are not necessarily for producing electricity. Some of them might be, but some of them are not. Most of them are not, by the way. But they are also there because if you don't have them, you might actually have issues with water levels naturally that will go up and down and up and down. And if you don't have stability in this system, then you will also kill agriculture. Okay, I don't care how you look at it, you're going to kill agriculture. And you're going to kill a lot of things that are associated with this particular dam. And in Spain, in the last year, I think it was 2 years or something like that, but it's huge. And they keep destroying the dams. So if they keep destroying the dams, then they will also have to destroy the water treatment plants. Because, like I told you, if you have a water treatment plant that doesn't have enough water, then it's going to become an issue, and then the water treatment plant is going to become unstable, and there will be a lot of things that will go bad. So basically, you're going to get the worst water that you can possibly have in your city. And I'm going to try to explain this one so that you can even check this one out about my country. So, about 1 decade ago, this was bad. There was a symposium about water. It was in Singapore, or in Korea, I don't remember, but it was in an Asian country, not China and not Japan. And in this place, they had to call official translators, meaning, those that are from the embassy. Usually when you have symposiums, you will have people that will translate things, but they are not official. They are sort of like, okay, I speak Spanish and I speak English, I can do the translation. No, this time the information was so like out of whack, like no, I must have no, there is no way that is true. No, that does not make sense. The people from this country were sort of like Wait, what? No, no, no. See, no. Is that even legal? Yeah, I mean that was the translation. So they had to call people from embassies to try to make their translation, as in is this information actually accurate? Like is not being translated wrong or something? And it was about water in my city, which happens to be one of the worst waters that you can get. I think in the entire continent. No, because there are people that will have water that is even worse than mine. But let's say that in the top 100 worst waters, my city will be in the bottom, like probably around 50 to 100 water worse quality from the entire continent. So it is that bad. And that is because people here did not build the dams that they were supposed to build. Dams were not being used properly. The water treatment plants had issues because of water overflowing, water things, and all kinds of problems because of electricity and all kinds of things. And the situation with water was so freaking bad that I even have videos about this topic. And in fact, people in this country, in Asia, they were sort of like, you mean that you treat the water with chlorine and it turns green? How does that happen? Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So yes, it's going to be a huge issue. So if in Spain they continue to destroy the dams, not only you are not going to be able to rebuild them, because take a look at this. Every time that you are building a dam, you will have people that will go against it, because obviously, number one, you are taking people out of their homes. Because let's say that you need to build a dam that is next to a stream or something like that, and then people are like, but this is my house. Yeah, I'm sorry, but we need this space for collecting the water, so you're out. So there will be people that will be pissed. Number two, you have to make ecological studies, because it's not like, okay, I just want to do it here. No, it's not because you want to do it, okay? This isn't a game in which the territory is just whatever you feel like it. No, it doesn't work like that. This is real life, and you need certain things. Number three, there is an issue about money. Number four, there is an issue about permits and a lot of other things. Like if you're going to move from here, 1,000 species that did not have a space before, then you have to move them someplace. Like the plants, the animals, and everything. So you have to give them space, because it's not like you are going to disrespect animals and disrespect everything. So there is a lot of things every time that you are going to build a dam, and that's why they take years, and it costs so much freaking money, because there are so many things involved that you have no idea. And then there is the fact that above those dams, there are roads and bridges, and there is issues. But if there is no dam, and then the roads and the bridges that are down below might have issues with water, because now the water is going to be too high or too low, and there is not going to be something else. So basically, you will destroy agriculture, you will destroy the roads that are down below, and you will do a lot of damage. So building the dam, let's say that it costs you $100 billion. You destroy the dam, and now the economy from the dam below is going to suffer at least, let's say, $10 billion every decade. And it's going to be a loss that is going to be permanent. Like every year you will have the same problem, because you don't have stability with the water, and then you have a lot of issues. And so now we have another problem, which is, okay, so why are you doing this? And then you realize that they are destroying the dams, but there is also a stock market option so that you can buy the water. And I'm sort of like, wait, what? What? What do you mean the stock market? Water is in the stock market? Yeah. Like, if you can get water into this thing. Now, I'm not talking about going into the stock market and getting money from the company that is a water treatment plant, or the company that is supposed to provide the services for the water or something like that. I'm talking like water per se, and it's insane the whole regulation that is going to go about this one, because that means that if you're rich, you will have clean water, but if you're poor, you will get no water, or you will get the water that is not being treated at all. And you are also going to have to pay more for water for agriculture, because agriculture cannot use water that is dirty, because obviously you're going to produce food. You cannot produce food with chemicals and things like that from the ground. And this means that you will have to pay more for food that it is produced naturally by farmers. And so this is an indirect attack for farmers, and then there is also a way to make money here. And the Spaniards don't seem to notice. But they will notice when they have problems with water, the way that I have problems here in my country. And by the way, I'm lucky. Yeah, like I have mentioned this before. So if you want to know more about the disaster that will happen in terms of water in Spain, and then it will happen in all the other countries. Because here is the deal. That happened in my country, but nobody was noticing. But that is happening in Spain, and everybody's noticing, and nobody's doing anything about it. So there is a difference. Because if you don't know anything, then, there is no reaction. But here they are doing it in the open, and nobody seems to be doing anything. So if they establish that in Spain and it works, and the politicians realize that, oh yeah, people don't care, yeah, you can be prepared worldwide to pay for potable water that will be delivered to you by trucks like they're doing in Africa, and that's why there is no pipes and there is no dams, because if they destroy the dams, then there is no water going through the pipe. And if there is no water going through the pipe, the only way that you will be able to get water is going to be to trucks. Trucks that have to deliver the water to your house. And this is going to literally take a huge impact in your health, mental health, financial health, and physical health, because now you will be doing bucket duty, the one that I just mentioned before in my videos. And I do not know if your body will be able to take bucket duty. Quite frankly, it sucks. It's one of the worst things that can happen to you during hard times. I mean, it's manageable, but oh my God, really, it's one of the worst. I mean, it's hard, very hard. And this is happening because apparently it's going to work. So if the Spaniards do not stop this and they do not do something about this, then you can expect a trend. And if that happens, then you can, by the way, in the European Union, that is also a trend right now. They are destroying dams all over the European Union. And as soon as they start like making it a fashion thing, making like, yeah, Spain did it and it's working, so we're going to do it too. And then France does it, and then the other country does it, and then everybody does it. And then when the collapse happens, then they will be the politicians that come to you and say, oh, we have a solution. You can buy water from us, from the trucks, like the way that they do it in Africa or Venezuela, or a lot of places that water is just never happen. Oh, and it will be illegal for you to catch rainwater. Because if you do it, then we can take you to court, and then we can find you, and then we can even take your house. So, yeah, a lot, but because like I said, huge money involved. Huge. I mean, if you were owner of these trucks, you were going to make a profit like insane, because there is a client that can never, ever, under any circumstances, leave you. So even if you tell them from $10 for $50, the people cannot say no. Because how are you going to live without water? There is no substitution. There is no rivalry. There is nothing. It's not like you can say, okay, I'm going to get water from what? Oh yeah. So technology might come to the rescue. There is a lot of machinery that now is being imported in a lot of places that can produce water from air, but that machinery requires electricity. If you don't have electricity, then how exactly are you going to make that machine work? Then you're like, generators, yeah, I'm going to ask again. How exactly are you going to make that one work if this thing works with fuel. Then you're like, no, solar thing. Right. I'm going to ask again, how exactly are you going to make that work? Because we already tried that one for an entire town and everything, and it don't work. And we had a lot of people that actually knew what they were doing, and they were not able to do it. And in here in my country, if there is something, I have said it before, if there is something that we have like abundant and we can even give it out away to everybody, is sun. Because my God, we are a very sunny country. We are in the middle of the equator after all. And we have that amount of sun, and solar power does not work. So how exactly are you going to make it work if you are in a country like England or something like that, in which there is no sun? Right. So again, I'm sorry. I have a tendency to be sarcastic. It's not personal about anybody, by the way. Now, next one. So we have a situation in the UK in which banks are going crazy for first-timers because there are not going to be any more offers to anyone who is trying to get a new home or anyone who is trying to get a new car or whatever. And basically it's due to regulations and due to the fact that they do not know if the British pound is going to withhold or to hold its value. And so they are trying to protect against inflation, and so they are trying to guess what? Now the US dollar is the safe haven for a lot of things, and gold is also another safe haven, but that one will not work very nice. You will see later why. If you want to know more about that topic, I have a video about silver and things like that. You can see it if you want to. And anyway, this is going to affect you because if you did not have a house before, during hard times you will never. I'm going to repeat that one. Unless you go into a very illegal thing, or you win the lottery, or something like that, or you have an extreme good luck thing, or you make something happen too bad or too good for you or something like that, then meaning you understand how your mind works, and then you create stuff, and then you are actually good at it. Good. But even then you will still have issues with money, because there are companies that will just go bankrupt and things like that. So if you did not have a house before, you are never ever going to get one, because it's not like you can work throughout the year and save money, and with that money you can buy the house. That used to happen in my country, by the way. There were people that were saving. You could save in my country in the 1960s and 70s and 80s. If you work for 3 years, you worked for 3 years, and you were middle class, you saved a little bit of money. 3 years was enough so that you could do buy the house full price. That's it. You work 3 years, you save a little bit, and after 3 years you have enough money to buy your house, just like you will buy a candy. You will go and say, okay, I have the money here, that's it, this is my house, and done. And not even signing a deal with banks. People will sign deals with banks, and pay their houses in 5 years. You could pay your car in 2 or 3 years, fully, by working. Middle class, one job. This is why my country was so awesome, but it was destroyed entirely. And then I have a reproduction list about that in the hyperinflation, unexpected data. I have all the reasons there and everything, and it's insane. So yeah, I mean, buying a house, huge issue, because you see, the people that have money, they are investing it into something that, because you are going to be a client that you're going to pay, yes, but whatever money you're paying in the interest or whatever, it's not going to be the profit that they are expecting, because if you can invest the money into the water, and then you will have a client that will give you money forever, and you can just, increase the price for the water or whatever, and you can make more money, then why bother, helping people to try to get their homes and stuff like that? So, not happening. A lot of things are happening with money that are behind the curtains, and it's bad for a lot of things, but it's good for other people. So it will depend upon how you look at it, and it will depend what side you're on. Now, the Nord Stream number 1 and 2 gas ducts were destroyed. Somebody bombed them. And the reason for this are kind of obvious. There is a lot of money involved into this situation. Number one, obviously, there is the thing that if you have something that needs to be transported and you shut down the transportation, then number one, the transportation cost for this will increase. So, if before you were using a pipe to transport gas, now you will need cars or boats or whatever it is. That means that there is a business in the transportation. Number two, there is also an increase in the price of this product. And number three, there will be rebuilding because obviously people will need to have this thing, rebuilt. And sometimes this will be done on purpose. In certain situations, people will just burn the entire ground, even though that it has things that are valuable, because you need it to be clean so that you can rebuild something new. So this is sort of like, okay, I'm going to bomb your house because I don't want a house, I want a mansion. So there is new rebuilding contracts, and there is a lot of money into rebuilding this thing. So you have three different aspects, and you have no idea on how to prove which one actually did it. So there is a lot of money involved in that. So we will never know what actually happened, but you can understand the behind the curtains things that are happening. Some people are benefiting a lot from situations like this. Now, there is another one that says that climate war is a perfect crime because you can kill people without taking the blame. Meaning, let's say that, for example, you can control a hurricane. And by the way, I have a video about this. I haven't published it yet, but it is in the Nobody Tells You About This. And then you can tell me, oh my God, like I said. But anyway, so let's say that you need to create chaos in one particular area. So there is a hurricane that hits, or a tornado that hits that area. So nobody can blame you for the tornado, right? I mean, how are you going to prove that the tornado was actually your creation? Or how are you going to prove that it is God's creation? How are you going to prove that this was not manipulated or manipulated? And who is going to take the fault? If this technology exists, then there is no regulation. So the government should have foreseen this happening, and they should have created regulations. But they didn't. And there is no regulation about this, even though that the technology already exists. And so, what is happening there? Yeah. Guess who is paying most of these bills? Taxpayers and insurance companies. So I am assuming that the insurance companies do not want to keep losing money, and I am assuming that the insurance companies are going to go ballistic on governments. And they will go ballistic on their own clients, by the way. So, because the insurance companies are the ones that will take the hit, and they are the ones that will disappear because of all these things. So, because there is a lot of money involved, and the money has to come from someplace. Money is not like you go to a tree and say, "Hey, print my money." That doesn't work. I mean, you could if you are producing fruit or something. But that's another story. But you get my point, right? Money is not just going to be printed in nature or something like that. You need it to go from someplace. Somebody has to print that money. And somebody has to pay for all of these bills. And somebody has to do something. And And especially when this is targeted to either destroy the insurance companies or to destroy a particular area, so that the land there is going to be worthless. You see, if you take a building and then you destroy the building, then the land in that area is going to probably be worthless. But if the building is working and people are still working into that building and everything else, then this land is going to be worth a lot of money. So if you destroy things in a particular area, or if you do not put enough money into the schools in a particular area, then that area will have a price that is very low. And it is a perfect crime, because you can make huge profits by buying a land that is worth, you're buying it for 1,000, but you are selling it for 100,000. So you're investing $1, but you're taking 99 in profit. So who is paying for that money? There is a lot of things that are being done on purpose, and the ones that are paying the money are the taxpayers most of the time. And the thing is that you do not know about this, because they are not telling you that this technology exists, but there is proof, and I have it in the video, and then you can see it, and then you can tell me. But that video, quite frankly, is ignorance is bliss. Once you know that one, oh my God, I swear, I don't know what to tell you, especially if you are in the US, like I said. So, Venezuela traded US hostages for Venezuelan criminals convicted from the United States. Of course, there is a lot of money involved. There was a third country involved. So why would you do this? Well, the reason is because there is a lot of money involved. And the implications of you trading people from the US that are used taking in hostages in another country, I mean, it's sort of like, it defies, it just throws away, throws down the drain the theory that you do not negotiate with terrorists and things like that. And then you open the possibility that every single US citizen outside the United States can be, kidnapped or whatever, because if you have somebody who is in the United States and it's a criminal, and then you can pay a little bit of money and you can have them extradite to your country, and all you need to do is have money and have people that are from the US that are not in the United States, and you kidnap them, then you do the deal. Oh yeah. So I do not need to tell you that having a US passport outside the United States might be very, very, very bad right now after this happened. And there are a lot of other political implications, but all of them are related to money. Now, next one. Twitter is under the scope because a lot of companies are withdrawing the publicity from them, since the ads are right now next to porn or LGBT groups. So let me explain this one. You are a company that promotes, for example, soap, okay? And your advertising goes directly towards the accounts that are related to LGBT groups, or they are related directly towards porn sites, or accounts that are related to sex and things like that. So you're a company that produces soap, and you want this type of people associated with your product and things like that. Yeah, no. In fact, in Turkey, there was a huge manifestation of more than, it was really bad. I mean, that one, I swear, the amount of people that was compared to the LGBT group march, there were two groups, the LGBT group and then the other one. And quite frankly, it was like, it was like you comparing, I don't know, let's say a fly towards a cat. No, the group that is going against LGBT is insane, mostly because the LGBT group is now being looked at as and they are being associated with the group called MAPS, which is minor attracted person, which means that basically is pedophilia. And by the way, pedophilia is not the right term. There is another term that is proper. Because pedophilia is actually love for children. It's not about sex necessarily, but other things. And there are a lot of terms in there that are being messed up, and this group is going to take the fall. And quite frankly, you do not want to know what happens when you have parents involved, and you are making them, bad because of children. I do not know how this is going to turn out, but I can tell you right now that the people that are involved into the LGTB group are either, there is a statistical thing that proves that this group has more suicide and has more issues in terms of medications and in terms of mental health and a lot of things. And not only that, but they are associated also with huge company losses. Because every time that one company decides to associate themselves with this, they start losing huge amounts of money. And not only that, but once you do this, you taint the image of this company. And so a lot of people will just cut ties with you, including, but not limited to, your suppliers and other things. So this is a war in which people are now going to have to take sides, and it's going to happen sooner than later. And when this one happens, you better know what you're going to do about it, because you will have a lot of people that will fight you for not being tolerant and things like that. And I'm thinking that this is going to be the next thing. And companies will have to pick which side they support with their money. And so, and another example is that, there was an event in which there was a family, meeting in a park. This was a public park which had a lot of picnic related things, items for parks, items for families and things like that. And it was huge, okay? It was big. I mean, everybody was going to go through this thing. And all of a sudden, there was this bank that had to withdraw the support, like before they did it, because they were the ones who were promoting all this thing, right? I mean, the bank was like, yeah, we are a family bank, we are going to give you money, we want to support this and this and this and that. And all of a sudden, in the presentation, I mean, the things that they were going to do, like having a demonstration for kids with clowns, there was a lot of things, into teaching the kids and all of these things. And then in the last minute, like the last day, they added, oh yeah, there is going to be a drag queens transvestic contest and show for the kids. So the bank was sort of like, wait, what? You are going to do a contest of kids dressing as men and things like that into a family meeting thing? Yeah, no. They withdraw the support, and of course the event was cancelled. I think it was cancelled entirely, or I think it was supported by other groups or something like that, but it was huge because a lot of families, as soon as they realized that this was happening, like I mentioned in the other video, it is bad because some parents are okay about this. Some parents are okay. Other parents, yeah, no, not happening. So this is going to be huge because if you put your money and you support one way or the other, and by the way, there is no middle. If your company supports both, it's not going to happen. And this is big. This is going to be big because a lot of people will ask if your company supports this or if your company does not. And in fact, a lot of people are quitting certain companies because they are supporting one group or the other one. It's sort of like the same way with abortions and sex changes for kids and things like that. It's just quite bad, the situation. No matter what side you take. By the way, like I said, I don't take sides. I try to give you the information from both sides and then you make your own decision. Now, Central Bank for European, they are trying to create a new currency They are trying to create a cryptocurrency. And guess what? They already signed a deal with Amazon so that Amazon can help them create the prototype for their currency. Meaning, Amazon is going to create the thing that works directly towards the bank. So whatever you do in Europe will be done through Amazon and everything like that. So you will have other people, in charge of your money, which in this case will be probably Amazon. And this is going to be big. So if they manage to do that, I do not know if Europe is willing to have a US company handling their own money. By the way, this is also why right now there is a lot of people that are starting to do protest in Germany, against the European Union. In fact, Germans are now demanding, there is a lot of Germans that are now demanding that the European Union gets out of Germany. And Germany, they don't want it because they know that their currency is stable and is strong compared to others. And also, they do not want to be abiding by the laws of a lot of things, which is kind of ironic because German government and German companies are the second, I think second or third, I don't remember right now. But they are the second or third most biggest collaborators with money for the WH. So basically, Bill Gates, then Germans are the ones who own the market for the back things, and all of this is going to make huge impact because I don't know if Germans know that their government and their companies are the ones who are going to be tainted and the ones that are going to be taking down the fall for whatever goes wrong or whatever goes up with these topics. And it's going to be huge because, again, there is huge. I mean, the amount of money that is involved in here is beyond your wildest dreams. Is just it's bad, again, the situation with this thing. So Spaniards and Germans are now extremely important in the global position. Whatever the Spaniards do in terms of the water will set the trend for the European Union and for everybody else. So if the Spaniards do not do anything, then you can expect a downfall for virtually everybody. And if the Germans succeed into destroying the European Union, then you can expect the euro to take a hit, besides the one that they already took because they had the UK withdrawing from the from the European Union and a lot of other things. And then you will have even bigger problems because of the lawsuits and because of a lot of other things that are involved into the manufacturing of these products because they are German companies or German shareholders and things like that, and it's going to be bad. Now, how bad is this? I do not know exactly because it will all depend upon the proof, the lawyers and everything else, but I do know that a huge portion of where things go for Europe and then for the rest of the planet are depending upon these two right now. And that is the ones that, are kind of like in near the surface. They are not exactly in the surface, but they're kind of like going down. They are like in step one. But of course there are other people or other things that are even lower and lower and lower and lower. I mean, there are billions of things that we cannot see. But right now, these two are in the surface, and depending upon what they do, you will see an influx of money into the right place or into the wrong place, or you will see even worse regulations and things like that, and it's going to be bad. Either way, it's going to create a huge impact in terms of prosperity and in terms of stability of the currency in terms of the US versus the euro and things like that. By the way, the US is, like I said, a lot of people are buying US dollars in Europe because they are actually thinking that the US dollar will be stronger, especially if Germans decide to just get out of the European Union, which I don't know if they will do it, but there were 3 analyses that I saw that said that the Germans are taking money and they are giving it to the European Union, but these, and they're pressuring into the policies and all of these things, but they say that even with these, next year, as in next fall, meaning not right now, 2022, but 2023, as in after October 2023, you will see a huge cut in losses and cut in a lot of jobs and a lot of things, and some industries will just sink entirely. Like I said, that happened in my country, and I can tell you right now that it sucks, because the amount of people that will be fleeing, especially people that are specialized in certain things, it will be huge. Because if you know your trade and you cannot do it in your country, you will just leave and do it in another place. And it's going to be huge, the amount of people that will flee the European Union. The thing is that, where are you going to go? So either you stand your ground, or you ended up being like Venezuela. I don't know how you're going to play it out, but it's going to be huge. Whatever way you go, it's going to be huge. Now, there is another topic that is being trending a lot lately, and it is called eugenics. And it is making it big. Because you see, eugenics is not a political organization. It is actually an organization that is trying to cut losses with money for governments and for humans and for all things. So basically, when they first started, they were sort of like, okay, I'm going to go to a psychiatric place, and then I'm going to prove that with pictures and everything, that mentally ill men can be trained to do stuff, but they are a burden in terms of economical aspects. They are a burden for people, and then elderly people are also a burden because they require more medication and they cannot work, and they are living longer, which means that they are very expensive to society and things like that. And also, when you have kids that are born with certain genetic traits that are not desirable for the next generation, for example, people with Down syndrome and things like that, society will be better without them. So there should be a way in which the elite reproduces faster and better, and these people should be just make sterile so that they cannot reproduce and things like that. And now this is like I said, this is a group. It has people from both sides of the political parties, meaning people that are Democrats and people that are Republicans, or whatever you want to call it. It's sort of like a religion thing. And this topic is insane because they are also supporting the idea that you can go and then you can die at your own will. So, for example, if you have cancer, you do not need to be a burden for your family, for other people, or leave the bill or whatever. So why don't you just go to this place? We will pay the doctor $3,000 or $2,000. By the way, that's how much doctors are being paid for this kind of thing. You can go to this place and we will just take an injection and then you die, and that way everything is going to be okay, because that way money is not being taken from the government, and that money can be used for something else. What they don't tell you is that this money is going to be used for the elites to make themselves even richer. And not only that, but what they don't tell you is that this whole thing is a lie in terms of why this natural selection. because this thing is supposed to be used sort of like Darwin selection for natural selection, meaning the species that adapt the most is the one that should survive. Yes, but what you don't understand is that women are the ones in charge of selecting the males that are supposed to be reproducing. But that right that women used to have, for free choice and free things, is not there. That right in a lot of countries is not there because there are forced marriages, there are religious impediments, and there are all kinds of things in which women are not into the process of free selection. And this is all done not because of not because of society thinking that they will get better, but actually because some men are freaking out, and there is a lot of things that this group is not considering. And so anyway, this whole thing started with a guy called here. I'm going to put it there. Sir Francis Gallen, from 1822 to 1911. And it is a worldwide movement. And like I said, I'm not for or against anything. I'm just telling you what is happening. Then you make your own decision. Because this whole situation is making the Darwin concept apply to human. They want to make the role of Darwin, and it's in. They want to create genetics based upon, okay, we like this selected group of people, this elite, so this elite should have 7, 8, 20 kids, but the ones that are lower class or poor people should never have more than one kid, or maybe even not have kids. And this is why, they even tested a lot of things like this in Africa. There is a lot of girls in Africa and in India that were sterilized against their own free will, and now they cannot have kids and things like that. And this is being done through a lot of genetic manipulations and a lot of things that not a lot of people do know. However, some of these things you can find online, and there are groups that are now taking this into the light and saying, hey, if you don't like it, then either make women, empower again, as in a woman has the right to select who she wants to marry, because the one that is going to bear the child is a woman, not you. So and then there were people like, no, we don't even need women for this, so we can do this by supporting male reproduction and things like that. And then basically, they are doing a lot of things in terms of changing how we perceive sex and gender orientations and things like that, and they are doing it through the writings of this person and through the ideals of this person that was selected into the terms of eugenics. And this is politicians from both sides. So it's not about you being Republican or you being, Democrat or something like that. It's about it's an idealism thing. It's kind of like a group, and this group does not take into consideration, of course, the opposite theories, which are family constellation series, religion, gene variety, and other kinds of things that will actually, support Darwin theory that humans will evolve to their best without intervention. And so, there are a lot of things in here that are, they are not being told to the regular population or to anyone, because of course you cannot tell people, okay, I'm going to have 7 kids, but I don't want you to have kids. And so, because if you tell somebody something like that, they will go ballistic on you, because of course you cannot put yourself above other people. But there is this thing, and there is a lot of people that will have huge amounts of money, and this money is either going to be spent into helping these people survive, meaning There is a lot of people that will apply for aid when you have a kid with disabilities and things like that. And so there is a lot of money that is being spent into this. And this is a topic about where does the money come from. And this is a topic that will be, huge, because you cannot put a price on life, just like you should never put a price on water. And you should be fair for everybody. But this is not being fair because the flow of money is not being controlled necessarily by the social justice kind of thing. Is rather being controlled into the greedy side or the dark side. And there are a lot of things that we cannot see. And if sometimes, all you have to ask is, where is the money coming from? And most of the times you will find the answers once you start asking yourself how to follow the money. If you understand how to follow the money, you will understand where the traps are. Because whenever something bad happens, there is a lot of people that will benefit from chaos rather than harmony. Because in harmony, most things are stable. And access to money is stable for literally everybody. And there is no such a thing as an elitism or eugenics or whatever. But there is a lot of people that go the other way because they want to control all the flow of the money. And by the way, they have the upper hand because they probably understand that better than most people. So, having said all of this, I hope that this was helpful. And like I said, I don't take sides. I'm just trying to point out, to certain underlying threats or underlying things that you might not see and a lot of people is not seeing. And if you don't ask yourself, is there such a thing as a free thing, then, you might end up being overpaying. And you ended up, you might end up being a financial slave, probably forever.